What's next in policies? Policy options and actions provided by the European Parliament. Motion for the European Parliament resolution on addictive design of online services and consumer protection in the EU single market. In this recent motion, conducted on December 2023, the European Parliament calls for action, as there are still many issues to be addressed to reduce PUI. Addictive design of online services, digital fairness and consumer protection. The European Commission is urged to modernize consumer law definitions in order to protect consumers from harms, as well as respond to the negative trends that have been weakening consumers' rights. Regulation of digital addiction. A comprehensive EU regulatory response is necessary to combat digital addiction and manipulative technologies, empowering consumers to control their use of digital services and be protected from PUI. Exploitative practices. The exploitation of psychological vulnerabilities by tech companies to increase user engagement is alarming. The Commission is called to close regulatory gaps related to dark patterns and addictive features. Legislative gaps. Despite existing EU legislation like the Digital Services Act, DSA, and AI Act, addictive design remains insufficiently addressed. The Commission is urged to enforce and expand regulations to protect public health. Policy and legislation. Calls on the Commission to examine what policy initiatives, unfair commercial practices, Directive UCPD, Consumer Rights Directive and Unfair Contract Terms Directive are needed, and to propose legislation against addictive design. Prohibiting harmful practices. The Commission is asked to prohibit unfair and harmful practices not yet blacklisted in EU legislation, such as dark patterns and manipulative personalization practices. Addressing addictive features. The Commission must assess and regulate addictive design features, like infinite scroll and autoplay, ensuring legal clarity and consumer protection. Consumer autonomy and digital asymmetry. Consumer vulnerability due to power imbalances must be recognized in consumer law. The Commission should consider reversing the burden of proof for suspected addictive practices and enforce ethical digital design. Mental health and recommender systems. The Commission should assess the mental health impact of interaction-based recommender systems and explore safer alternatives. Social network infrastructure should be opened up to allow third-party applications that mitigate addictive design elements. Ethical design of online services. Digital right not to be disturbed. The European Commission is urged to establish a digital right, allowing consumers to disable attention-seeking features by default, empowering them to choose whether to activate these features, with clear warnings about potential risks. Ethical design by default. The Commission should encourage online service providers to adopt ethical design practices that prioritize user control and informed decision-making, avoiding manipulative features that monopolize attention. Suggested practices include practices of think before you share, turning all notifications off by default, more neutral online recommendations based on chronological order, increased user control, etc. Selection between color and grayscale apps. Warnings when users have spent more than 15 or 30 minutes on a specific service. Automatic locks for certain services after a preset time of use. Also, education guides, prevention plans, and awareness campaigns to promote self-control strategies are needed. Stakeholder collaboration. Effective regulation of addictive design should involve collaboration among lawmakers, public health bodies, healthcare professionals, industry, in particular SMEs, as well as media regulators, consumer organizations, and NGOs. The Commission should facilitate ongoing dialogue between these stakeholders to develop and implement measures that prevent and minimize harm associated with PUI. Protection of children and adolescents. Special attention is needed to address the impact of addictive design on young users. The Commission is called to fund and coordinate research on addictive design, promote international regulation, and enforce safety standards that uphold children's rights in digital services. If you want to read the full document, press the following link: https://europarl.europa.eu/CEO document TA9 2023-0459 en.html. The PUI Manifesto. The swift velocity of the digital revolution has gone beyond the capacity of researchers to thoroughly investigate the diverse issues that are encompassed on the problematic internet use. As a result, there is a gap of information that leaves important facets of PUI and its umbrella unexplored. There is an urgent need for more thorough studies in this area, as concerns about problematic internet use continue to rise. A consortium of professionals joined together to create the manifesto for a European research network into problematic usage of the internet in recognition of this urgent situation. They propose that Europe should conduct more research in different key research priorities to continue understanding PUI. 1. Reliable consensus-driven conceptualization of PUI, defining main phenotypes and specifiers, related comorbidity and brain-based mechanisms. 2. Age and culture-appropriate assessment instruments to screen, diagnose, and measure the severity of different forms of PUI. 3. Characterize the impacts of different forms of PUI on health and quality of life. 4. Define the clinical courses of different forms of PUI. 5. Reduce obstacles to timely recognition and interventions. 6. Clarify the possible role of genetics and personality features in different forms of PUI. 7. Consider the impact of social factors in the development of PUI. 8. Generate and validate effective interventions, both to prevent PUI and to treat its various forms once established. 9. Identify biomarkers, including digital markers, to improve early detection and intervention. According to their recommendation, more effort should be put into examining the behavioral patterns, psychological effects, and societal repercussions connected to the problematic use of the internet. In addition to expanding knowledge of the problematic use of the internet in Europe, this manifesto is an important roadmap that will be useful for the creation of efficient interventions and policies. By following this, society will be better equipped to handle the issues raised by problematic internet use, which will ultimately result in the development of focused solutions that can lessen the negative impacts of the technology and more informed decision-making. If you want to read the full document, press the following link: https://sciencedirect.com science article PII S09249777X830367 SEC0011 Quiz. 1. Is a word or phrase that is often repeated and expresses a particular strong belief. A. Stigma. B. Belief. C. Mantra. D. The repeat technique. Correct answer: C. 2. Which of the following statements about mantras is false? A. Mantras offer a focal point of attention that helps to calm the mind and develop awareness of the present moment. B. They are applied to guide people towards actions and decisions which are aligned to their desires and goals. C. They are used for self-reflection and awareness. D. Mantras are only applied in sports. Correct answer, D. 3. How emotional management is linked to trigger online addictions. A. Users can use the internet as a coping mechanism for underlying their feelings. B. Emotional management is not linked with online addictions. C. Users feel sadness when they play games. D. People with hypochondria feel relief when they find their worst scenario. Correct answer, A. 4. How emotional management is linked to withdrawal. A. Users can use the internet as a coping mechanism. B. Emotional management is not linked with withdrawal. C. Users feel sadness when they gamble. D. People need to deal with anxiety, anger, etc. Correct answer, D. 5. How emotional management is linked to a healthy balance. A. Users can use the internet as a coping mechanism. B. Emotional management is not linked with a healthy balance. C. People with skills in controlling their emotions will be less dependent on internet addictions and will live more balanced and satisfying lives. D. Users can use the real world as a coping mechanism. Correct answer, C. 6. Which of the following statements is false? A. Emotional management is essential for relapse prevention during a digital detox, because feelings often drive behaviors, including the use of digital devices. B. People are able to identify feelings that could make them relapse. C. Emotional management is not linked with relapse. D. If people identify healthy strategies to cope with negative feelings, they can reduce the probability of relapse. Correct answer, C. 7. What is the role of happiness as an antidote to PUI? A. If people are happy, they can tackle PUI easily. B. When people are part of activities that bring them happiness and foster real-life connections, can be a powerful antidote to the problematic use of the internet. C. Only having relationships with happy people is the antidote to PUI. D. Having far-reaching goals will reach happiness and address PUI. Correct answer, B. 8. What is the activity related to the word H in the smile with the heart tool? A. Personal health. B. Help. C. Healthy activity. D. Happy. Correct answer, B. 9. What is the activity related to the word S in the smile with the heart tool? A. Smile like you mean it. B. Self-diagnosis. C. Sports. D. Socialize. Correct answer, D. 10. Is not one of the research priorities proposed by the PUI manifesto. A. Age and culture appropriate assessment instruments. B. Define the clinical courses of different forms of PUI. C. Search deeper in FOMO and digital hoarding. D. Clarify the possible role of genetics and personality features in different forms of PUI. Correct answer, C. B. Help. C. Healthy activity. D. Happy. Correct answer, B. 9. What is the activity related to the word S in the smile with the heart tool? A. Smile like you mean it. B. Self-diagnosis. C. Sports. D. Socialize. Correct answer, D. 10. Is not one of the research priorities proposed by the PUI manifesto. A. Age and culture appropriate assessment instruments. B. Define the clinical courses of different forms of PUI. C. Search deeper in FOMO and digital hoarding. D. Clarify the possible role of genetics and personality features in different forms of PUI. Correct answer, C.